Thunder Fury build.
Yeah, and the one thing that we talked already about a bit is something that really gives me a lot of hope for the playoffs for Team Liquid here. They looked so much more on point with their coordination, their team play, than they did over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
It was actually one of the problems they had, where the coordination just wasn't there anymore. And apparently the boot camp is already bearing fruit, as they, in this game, looked very much on point. The communication seemed to be way better than before.
Looking at the stats here, anything that stands out for you, Glorong?
Well, honestly, like, Poilk is... Team Wish, when they were Zealots, they didn't have the most successful regular season, I'd say, but the fact that he's able to have, like, this good of a statistical... I don't know, his stats are incredible for how they've done as a team.
Yeah.
So Poilk, it really interests me that he's able to get that much hero damage and that much siege damage consistently.
Constantly working on those auto attacks, man. You got it when you're playing those Valas and, of course, Lunaras and Cassius. Let's go to game number 2. What battleground will we be playing on? Our teams have chosen. It will be Tomb of the Spider Queen. Team Liquid coming in with a choice. This is a battleground that they've been going to the last few weeks. This and Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, and I don't know, every single time I see that battleground chosen, they're very comfortable on the battleground.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is also where we have oftentimes seen them being shut down pretty heavily. The Trick game comes to mind, where the turnaround happened with the Falling Dragon, with Falling Sword, and of course in Ragosa, a few others where they were trying to play the bot lane with Zagara, which didn't really work out for them. So I'm curious to see how they can do against Team Wish now on this map.
They're going to blow out the Probius again. That's what we're going to see here. So we're going to move into that. Glorong, what do you think about Tomb of the Spider Queen?
It's a pretty good map. I think the thing about Tomb of the Spider Queen that really puts teams to the test is their knowledge when it comes to rotations and objective control. You have to know exactly how much you can get away with when it comes to turn-ins or trading a turn-in for other pressure. So I think Tomb of the Spider Queen really is a map where you can illustrate which team has better fundamentals, and I'm really curious to see which team comes out on top on this map.
Well, let's start it here. Tomb of the Spider Queen opening up for our teams. Game number 2, Team Liquid is ahead 1-0. And as you mentioned, it's all about those turn-ins. Here in Europe, we've been seeing that double turn-in happening a lot. And a lot of teams have been trying their best just to prevent that second turn-in from going in.
And Team Wish is immediately banning out Genji again, so that is going to be a theme here. Chromie, we've been talking about her being buffed in the patch that we're playing here for the tournament. She has already seen play before on this map and even bans, but now, of course, as she's even stronger and it's even easier to get her stacking talent completed, we have now just Wish making sure that Norok is not playing Chromie again.
Yep, going from 80 to 60 stacks. The dev team mentioning they're just trying their best to make sure that Chromie gets that power spike a little bit earlier because it doesn't really affect her late game. And we've already seen the results pretty heavily in Hero League. I am very curious to see how heavy-handed it'll be in competitive play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm a big fan of Chromie. I mean, like, my team in particular, we've prioritized her for, like, months. But, like, Tomb of the Spider Queen's a really good map for
I mean, you got Prismatic.
Chromie.
Why wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
That guy's been playing Chromie for years.
He's like, he has an aimbot or something. I don't understand. Like, when I go back and watch the replays, he just doesn't
I remember when he was a one-trick Chromie in Hero League. Like, if you saw him, you banned it out. You're like, all right, we can get a win or two here now because he has to play something else. But if he got that Chromie, you might as well get ready for your next game.
She has so many strengths. Like, Slowing Sands is incredible on this map. She's got great wave clear. But we end up seeing Team Liquid opt into the Oriole post-nerf with Gul'dan. I think Oriole still is very, very strong, and Gul'dan's one of the best batteries. Amazing wave clear. It's a pretty generic Team Liquid opening, I'd say, though, honestly.
And this time we actually have a chance for maybe even Tracer being played. Tacita has now been chosen as the first pick, and in this setup, this is now an option all of a sudden for Team Wish, where they can, of course, still think about other alternatives. They can head into Lunara, which excels on the map with wave clear. They can play Vala if they really want to, but they have the option for Tracer, and this time they actually head straight into it. So last game we saw her banned out. This time there's just absolutely no way with Chromie being banned for them to deny Tacita. And then what do? Pick Tracer away without having Tacita. We saw one or two teams try that already. That didn't really work out, so you just have to accept you're going to run into it.
I like that Wish is willing to pick Tracer on the 2-3, like, simply because it shows that they're confident enough in their strategy to pick it. Like, this is their playoffs. This is their tournament life on the line. The fact that they're able to pick it up this early on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen really shows how confident they are with that strategy. But you see the pairing with a support with the Tracer oftentimes is what will make or break a comp. And Rhaegar actually does have a lot of good synergy with Tracer, but he also compensates for the fact that she has such atrociously low wave clear. So they kind of like, it's harmonious in that sense.
How much of a factor do you feel a potential variant could be here? Is that something where you would even think about banning him out? I mean, at this point, they're at least hovering him. But we have really not seen as much variant play against Tracer as in the past. But I feel like he has become a little bit more of a counter where teams are starting to get back to it and say, okay, if we get the taunt in, we have the chance to get an insta-kill.
I definitely think Varian is a lot stronger in a faster meta. I think right now the game has kind of slowed down. It's more sustained focused, and I think because of that fact, wave clear and early pressure matters a lot more, and Varian is super weak levels 1 through 10. But Team Wish actually does show the respect because Varian does have an incredible matchup in a Tracer. It's like as pretty much of a hard counter as you can get. They do end up banning out, which I think is correct. Team Liquid is already showing so much wave clear that they could have made a Varian work.
Is there also like another ban where you would say, okay, they ban Varian because they want to make sure they don't lose to him. They know that Tracer is basically there is no where that this is what our victory hinges upon, so they want to play us safe. But is there another ban that would have really stood out to you where you would have said, okay, if not Varian, that would have been the go-to? Or is that really just a moment where you say, it's absolutely understandable, they realize, hey, this is the biggest threat to us, nothing else really scares us to that extent?
I think potentially, I think the Varian ban is the ban they should have went with and ended up going with. It's what I agree with. But alternatively, they could have targeted potentially this double support hero pool, because right now they're already showing Tass Rhaegar, relatively high sustain, so Team Liquid has a couple options to match and counter it. And they end up going with ETC, another tank with a very good match from a Tracer. But to finish my thought, it's just like Team Liquid, as a team in general, has put such a high priority on double support in the past. It could have been something Team Wish targeted, but I think the Varian's smart.
Was curious about the Varian ban as well. If we're going to see more damage coming from Team Wish, with you having the Tracer and that Pulse Bomb, we've seen Aerial Aegis be used just to stop that damage from coming in, which allows for Tracer to, again, start to push forward and pressure out that Gul'dan or even that Vala pretty aggressively. So with the Varian being taken away, now it's much easier for them to move into a second damage, maybe for that bottom lane. Do you think we could see that?
For the bottom lane, yeah, definitely. I feel at this point, actually, Team Liquid's draft is looking super strong. If you have Vala and you have ETC to just create space, that alone already works really well. And as Glorang said, a second support for Team Liquid is definitely something we could see.
I'd love to see Brightwing. Like,
yeah.
To be completely honest with you, the spell, her E is really good into Tracer as well as the Polymorph. Yeah. And then you can just have a really strong 4-man, leave Brightwing in the offlane, catch the soak, and then she'll be there at any given point. I don't know if they'll opt in for that, but I could see Brightwing being pretty valuable.
We see Brightwing actually being banned out oftentimes when you go into a Tracer composition, so that would definitely be one of the setups. Outside of the Tracer, if that wasn't the focus of Wish, I would have said even a Tyrande in this setup would work for Team Liquid, since ETC with a pre-stun, getting the Tyrande stun in and dropping damage with Vala and Gul'dan really helps you out too.
Yeah, again, I think that Team Liquid could have, their initial plan, I think, may have been just double tank with Gul'dan, Oriole, Vala. You have like 2 big damage threats with a beefy frontline. But the Malthael pick definitely could change their strategy completely. Malthael has a very good matchup into tanks in general, especially from the perspective of an offlaner. Not many times will you have such a tank buster heavy threat in the offlane. Most of the time in the offlane, you're going to see like an Arthas or a Dahaka who doesn't do that same amount of damage. So the Malthael pick's really interesting here from Team Wish. It really puts Team Liquid in a corner.
For Wish, this is actually something that they really love to play. They have Zarmany a lot on Malthael. We've seen him also to a huge extent on Sonya, for example. But in this setup right now, I think Malthael really extends her that draft a lot more. Team Liquid, again, really waiting this out until the last second. We've seen it already in the game before, and we have the double support. So we see Morales being played now. So a lot more heavy on the healing power than any of the other suggestions that we had.
The Vala medic's really hard to deal with on this map in particular. What I expect, like, Team Liquid wants to do in the early game is just sort of put Vala and Medic in a lane to generate a lot of pressure. Generally, it's the bot lane, but some teams will mix it up and put the pressure in the top lane, for example. But the Vala and Medic attract a lot of response, like 2 to 3 members from Team Liquid, and then the other 3, the Gul'dan, Oriole, just controls the rotations.
Yeah, it seems overall that Vala is going to be super aggressive in this game. I mean, you have Oriole, and the more aggressive you can be with Vala because of the second support, the more hope Oriole is going to generate, and then how do you kill her?
Yeah, it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah,
constantly.
exactly.
If you can't punish one thing, the other threats just go untapped.
Yeah.
So how do you go about trying to get that punish? The Stitches factor, which is so important here?
Stitches factor is huge.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. And then also Task Tracer does have a pretty good matchup in a medic. But what Poilk in particular needs to do, they need to watch turn-ins, make sure Team Liquid does not get that first turn-in. And if possible, Wish has the comp necessary to snowball against a medic if they can secure that first turn-in.
Get that turn-in, open up the battleground, let Tracer do her thing, walk around and drop pulse bombs on people and blow them up as we move towards level 10. So with it being 2 months Spider Queen, after seeing game number 1, let's go ahead and talk drafts. Who do you think walks away with the win?
Okay, honestly, they must have done some great stuff at their boot camp, because even I didn't have a whole lot of faith in Team Liquid, but that last game restored all of my faith in Team Liquid. I think that their draft represents their style pretty well, but I'm not quite sold yet. So I'm still slightly leaning towards Poyok and Wish.
Okay.
I'm pretty much on the same note as you. The last game was something where I said, oh my god, this is Team Liquid again. Like, hello, welcome back. I feel like Wish, the one problem I have with this, I love that we have the Tracer. I think it's going to be fantastic for them. But I think they're going to hinge very heavily on how the hooks on Stitches are going to look. And I have a renewed faith in Team Liquid, so I'm going to say TL takes it.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to game number 2. Tomb Spider Queen is the battleground. I'm going with Team Liquid. Let's go ahead and check it out here.
Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Grand Paquete for Team Wish to the left side of the map. Mopsio this time at the front line with Stitches waiting for those hooks. Poik on Tracer. We have Zarmony for the bot lane. And Shad on Tazada for the team that is currently 1 map behind against their opponent, Team Liquid.
On the right side in the red, Team Liquid. Hasselwald is playing the Ariel. Splendor playing Lieutenant Morales. Darkmok will be playing Vala. Blumby on ETC. And Nurok will be your Gul'dan player. Now let's watch as these lanes unfold. Will we have the 2-on-2 on the bottom side? Will Gul'dan be clearing consistently? Most likely as we run into our lanes.
I'm definitely hyped for the game now because the last map restored a lot of the faith that I had in Team Liquid. But then again, at the same time, they were in this position already a few times. Tricked Esports comes to mind as an opponent. Yeah, well, Liquid just looked fantastic on the first map, and then it all turned against them. So right now, I think Liquid has definitely showed that the boot camp had already a big effect, and that they are back to where their synergy and their coordination is a lot stronger. Maybe as strong as in the past, we're going to find out. But Team Wish has a composition that they've been loving to play in the past with that double support Tracer. So it's going to be a good game.
There he goes. Darkmok will be on the bottom side, dealing with the Tracer and Tassadar. It's going to be a trade-off between the two, while Gul'dan will be in the middle and top side pushing in. And that's where we see the advantage go over to Team Liquid. That Gul'dan being able to clear out those lanes quickly, building into the Fell Flame, will be quite annoying. Mopsio is going to be the major target that I'm watching for Team Wish.
Yeah, Mopsio at this point with a hook against Splendor. And this is actually something that will have the big impact on this game. Is Mopsio on Stitches able to land the hooks against the backline? Is he going to get the hook against Gul'dan, against anybody really that it has no chance of escaping here? Oriel is one of the few that can at least buy some time for the team to react, but if you land that hook against Morales, as he just does now, that might be the crucial point here. Splendor on the way back, but here comes Poik, and that's the kill that they need in this early game. Kill number 1. Mopsio here shows how important he is going to be for a victory in this game, so we have to watch out for Team Liquid's backline. How well can they play with their positioning to dodge these hooks?
And Poik showing why he is such a phenomenal Tracer player. We had Blumby consistently looking for that Pulse Bomb that would come out. He wanted to block it, tank it, potentially take it for his Morales, but Poik slides by him there with that blink and lands the Pulse Bomb at the last second before Morales was able to get past the wall. Good pickup there by Team Wish as they have the first kill of the game.
Yeah, they get the first kill, but again, we have a very difficult composition to play against now when we're looking what Team Liquid is running here, especially considering that Vala now has that Morales support. That's going to be big. Nurok, by the way, now under peer pressure, apparently, has chosen to play Gul'dan. So we have Darkmok this time on Vala. With Nurok, we've seen a lot of auto attack focus on Vala. We've seen some multi-shot hybrid builds, but Darkmok is going into that more traditional style on most maps with an arrow build right now, and is trying to make that play. So we're going to have a bit more of a focus on the auto attacker for him. Good hook again by Mopsio, but this time no follow-up. Was pretty much alone here. Trying to get some tower shots onto the target, but that wasn't quite enough.
Increasing that hook accuracy too. Can't hurt at all as you continue to try and land at least 70 to 80%.
Scaring the opponent a little bit and just saying, okay, if you give me the chance, I'm going to land these things, so you better be careful. Now level 4 is, of course, there's that hook again, and Splendor is in trouble and should fall here, and indeed does. So right now, as we said, the big win condition for Team Wish are going to be these hooks, and so far Mopsio is delivering.
Team Wish is actually kind of destroying this bottom lane when it comes to A, getting kills in Morales, but 2, they are stopping gem collection. Every time that Darkmok finishes off a backline minion, you see Poik come across at the blink and threaten to go in for a fight, which has not allowed for Vala and Morales to pick up as many gems as you normally see. I've seen a total of 8 already denied, which sounds little, but that stacks up.
But overall, Liquid is actually ahead in the gem count. Not only with the ones that they turned in, but also the ones they've been holding. So they're actually keeping up here. It's really just a question of how much of these later game kills you get. Either you snowball early, That's one way you can play this. Or then later on after level 10, how is this going to measure up? Because these early kills are definitely strong, but they're not really giving you that much yet. You're not relying a lot of experience. You don't get a massive lead. They have a slight advantage right now, but they need to be able to land those in the later stages as well. But Wish gets the first turn in, and that is really when you can start your snowball, especially if they now hit level 7 with the Web Weavers descending, which should be the case. So they will have also a talent advantage as they start to push in the first objective.
That's right. Team Wish comes in with step number 1, gets their first turn in. Now step number 2 is to open up the battleground by killing towers and of course get an experience lead. And they've got the experience lead here, so let's see how much damage they can get done over their opponents. They're going to try and avoid the Gul'dan as much as possible. He clears out that Web Weaver pretty quickly, but other targets such as middle here, ETC, or if he moved out of the bottom lane to catch a Vala or Morales off guard, could be enough to allow Team Wish to open up the battleground more.
One of the things that Mopsio has to be careful about later on is that he doesn't feel too forced to throw out these hooks. It's still a massive cooldown, and once that you see the first one not landing, you know that you have a time window that you can use, so he needs to make sure that he gets value out of them. Nurok pressured heavily here, but this time he actually survives. So that's a missed opportunity to get a kill, but Nurok will still have to retreat, and it opens up the entire top lane for a big push that Team Wish is using now to potentially even drop the first fort, and they're getting so much value out of the first wave.
Yeah, doing much better than I expected them to. Actually, looking on the bottom side, they actually have the wall already opened up, so I can see why they moved to the top instead and try to get a kill. And darn it, they almost did against that Gul'dan. He was pretty darn low. Team Liquid now almost a full level behind their opponents.
Yeah, Team Liquid, keep in mind, has already had the choice of map here. And this is a map where in the past they oftentimes had a bit of trouble. Nice hook attempt again. I really love the angles that Mopsio is currently using. He's really toying a lot with vision. He always puts himself into decent spots where he can get those. Now we have a turn in nearly completed for Team Liquid. They need another 3. Hazops is holding 10, so he could be the one. But in the meantime, we still have Team Wish trying to control the turn-in spots where they aim for level 10 to deny it completely and get a double turn-in themselves. But Oriel completes the turn-in up at the top. And now we have Team Liquid with a chance to reply and get some experience through structure kills.
We'll see how much they can get done here. As 10 will be hitting for Team Wish, and they can look for a fight immediately afterwards. In fact, Mopsio still sharking around, looking for a hook on the bottom side. He had Tracer and Tassadar nearby, but with nothing becoming available, Team Wish pulls back, and they'll work on clearing to get that 10 and to stop the Web Weaver push coming in from Team Liquid.
Yeah, Liquid has to be really careful with this one. As you already said, they have to be cautious since they know that Team level 10 is going to be hitting for the defense, and that's what we're seeing right now. We have Pudric Bile on the side of Team Wish Stitches, and also we have the camp taken at the same time here in the mid lane. That's another big tool for Team Wish. Vala is down, and that is actually a problem since she held on to about 20 gems. Now all of them are lost, and that is just... that's horrible for Team Liquid right now. Not only do their Web Weavers get defeated pretty quickly, but at the same time, Vala falling and losing 20 gems is a massive blow against the team.
Team Wish feeling good about this so far here. Only 20 more gems they'll have a turn in. They've cleared up the Web Weavers that were coming their way, and they got an additional kill, and they're looking for more. Moving in for Nurok, is getting low, but with a great power slide from Malumbi, Tracer actually falls.
Yeah, the 5 versus 5 fights, this is going to be a little bit different. This is the one thing where I highlighted earlier the heroic abilities. I feel in the early game, Stitches is going to get a lot more value since he can simply roam from lane to lane, and he will get side positions where he can get easy hooks, or at least very dangerous hooks against the opponent. If Liquid is able to get into the later stages of the game on a nearly even footing, on even talents at least, then those fights are going to look a lot different because it will become very difficult for Stitches to land these hooks. And in the setup where both supports are with the team, it's also easier to negate these quick bursts of Tracer as she tries to go in and get a kill with her ult.
And the best part, too, is you look at Malthael and you think, okay, well, they still have the late-game power of Malthael, that Tormented Souls, but you have both the Morales and the Ariel that can knock away that target when he moves in for an engage, and on top of that, Horrify.
Exactly, you have Horrify now, and that's also great against Tracer, of course. So right now, the game is definitely changing, but Team Wish has established an entire level lead up to this point that they can use, and to be frank, that first Web Weaver wave of Team Liquid just didn't really do anything. So right now, they have to start to play a little bit more aggressive, make sure that Wish is not running away with this game with a second turn and snowballing them to 13 and maybe 16. So they have to try and force some team fights here.
Hook comes out, Mopsio looking for that fight that you were asking for, but does not connect on one. There are gems available for Team Wish. They need a few more collected on this middle and bottom wave. They can move in for the first turn, or second turn in. Team Liquid on the other side, they need a few more gems. They only have 23 available for them, and they're trying to set up for their potential grabs on the gems, but with Mopsio constantly sharking around, playing around with vision, they're playing very careful.
Yeah, but now we have the move at the bot lane. Here comes the Stacy. They're trying to keep him alive, but Gul'dan is down. No Horrify, no nothing. And here comes Harmony, but he might actually fall. The Ancestral comes through, though. Mosh Pit only hitting Stitches. That's enough for now to at least help the rest of the team to retreat. But that quick kill against Gul'dan set them back once again.
That it does. And they're going to be trying to look for a fight instead on the bottom, looking at Team Wish. Gonna go ahead and start moving in for that turn-in. Blumby trying to play a little bit too aggressive. I think he was moving in for a gem or two. Will be able to get away thanks to the face melt, but the Team Wish will be able to drop off all of their turn-ins, hit 13, and look for forts.
And again, one of these isolated kills against the hero. So that's what Team Wish has to look for, and so far they're doing exceptionally well with it. And they will now hit that level 13 with the Web Weaver wave. So that snowball potential is definitely there, and it's something that they use to its fullest extent. For Liquid to come back into this, they need to really force a big fight and win it. If they can't do that, then they are going to be in a lot of trouble. And to be honest, they already are.
Look at top lane.
Yeah, defending this now. Once again, we have the move in. There's a potential hook coming in through. Yep, but this time they're actually missing, and Team Liquid for now at least is safe. But that was another scary moment for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you have 4 people on the top side afraid of a scary fight that could happen here, and Team Liquid will have to deal with consequences in the middle and the bottom side. That 4 on the bottom is completely uncontested, which means Web Weaver will clean that up, and Team Wish can bring in all 4 or 5 members to the middle lane and take out this fort. That's 2 forts here on this push.
Yeah, and that was just because they had such a great position. They really drove a wedge between the members of Team Liquid. It was one of the reasons why all the 4 members of TL up at the top lane were so scared, because they couldn't safely retreat. And for Mopsio, these hook targets were pretty easy. The hook was dodged in the end, but it was a scary one. And even the other one when Tracer positioned herself in such a fashion that Vala could never join ranks with the rest of the team. So it was really well done by Team Wish, just controlling the space, and that allowed the Web Weavers to get the value when now we see every single fort destroyed on Team Liquid's side. They themselves haven't taken a single one yet, but at least they get level 13. So now they have a window where they can take a fight on even talents up to the point where Team Wish hits their own level 16.
Yeah, that is a saving grace there for Team Liquid, and we had a moment where Nurok may have gotten caught by Poik. Looks like he was a little bit fearful to move out by himself, was waiting for a teammate to show up. Team Wish being a little bit too late on that, prevented that from occurring. But Team Liquid now has a chance here to get back in the game and answer back their own forts, going for a turn-in. But at the same time, they have to deal with Team Wish poking consistently, with Zarmony always dropping down that Reaper's Mark, and then Mopsio scaring with a hook.
Yeah, at this point, it's all about the turn-in. Mopsio, of course, is going to look for that hook that you just mentioned. Zarmony also with interrupts. Hook being dodged already. Blumby goes in. Doesn't really get the proper position here. And they're losing a bit of time, and Zarmony is once again just saying hello and making sure that no gems are being turned in. But Team Liquid with a Web Weaver wave, that would be great for them. Keep in mind, they're 1.5 levels behind. If they don't complete that turn-in, then Team Wish is going to get level 16. And that is going to be a disaster for Team Liquid.
Hook is up for Mopsio. Still sitting here on top of the Web Weaver. Team Liquid going for a fight. They want to fight before 16 hits. They find a Zarmony low on health. They drop the Horrify. Nurk goes in for the chase. Can he get to him? No. Zarmony is able to escape. Shad bringing out the shield. Poik goes in the back line. Drops the pulse bomb. Will hit Nurok, with the safeguard popping out. He's fine.
Ancestral has been used to keep Zarmony in the fight, so they don't have to give up the position. Half a level until Team Wish hits level 16. And that last escape of Malthea was actually fantastic for them. Here comes 12 gems. Nurok is going to get those turned in quite easily. The question is, will Vala complete her own turn? And so far, it looks like Darkmog is going to be able to pull that off, but they are still missing 4. Blumby needs to turn in. No, Heiserobs has 4 and will complete the wave. But the problem is the same that we had with the last turn-in. As we see the Web Weavers come down, Team Wish is going to get a talent advantage.
Gonna have level 16. Slam builds fully online here for Stitches, making it easier to clear. You have Tassadar dropping down the Psy Storms. Things are gonna look a little bit difficult here for Team Liquid. They're grouping up safely here in the middle, waiting for the Web Weaver to come out. But Team Wish, they push them across the map. They use that space.
For Liquid, this is a bit of a frustrating game so far. Missing the kill against Malthea was a big problem. Great hook again. ETC is down and Splendor is in trouble. He himself is also eliminated. A double kill against Team Liquid as the Web Weavers are down. And Dartmouth nearly falling to the storms that are being shoved down by Tassadar, by Shad. Great play by Team Wish, and again, if Malthea would have died, I mean, would have, could have, should have, if he falls there, That would have been fantastic for Liquid to gain some momentum, but as it happens, even the Horrify that was used by Nurok didn't kill him because he just moved far away from Gul'dan, that Gul'dan couldn't deliver the final blow. And then once the Ancestral comes through, he can stay in the fight. Now another Web Weaver wave of Team Liquid has done absolutely nothing. Team Wish has a 2-level lead, they have a talent advantage, and they are controlling this game start to finish.
They have denied every wish of Team Liquid, stopping the kills, stopping the Web Weavers from pushing in. Team Liquid having a very difficult time this game, and now they're in a spot where they have to work on getting level 16, while Team Wish gets ready for a major push towards keeps.
If this was the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Team Liquid would definitely hope for a fight on even talents, but so far they have been denied that every single step of the way.
That they have, and it's going to get even more difficult. ETC is primed in a position here if Team Wish were to set up a gank on the bottom side to allow for his team to disengage, but Team Wish is just moving straight down the middle lane here, moving in for the keep wall, and they'll break it down quite easily.
Yeah, in an ideal world, they would of course wish for a kill on the keep right now, and I think that's what they're aiming for. I'm not sure if they are going to get the keep directly, it depends on how Team Liquid runs this, but TL is also now half a level away from the 16 talent. They still have some hopes here, but already storms are coming through and the wall is open, so the mid lane is where they are going to focus their attention to. Vala with the defense at the bot lane, top lane is pushing, and now Nurok is making his way over with Gul'dan, but the main pressure in the mid lane, this is something where they have to deal with it soon. They still don't have 16, and they might lose the keep before that actually becomes an issue.
Keep already down to half health. Blooming crew will be able to clear it up in the middle. The 16 right around the horizon, they'll be able to grab it here. So they hold onto the keep in the middle. No catapult pressure here for Team Wish, but still, damage has been done. Team Wish has the entire map open and available to them. They can continue to set up around the ganks. They can even put themselves in the fog of war, as Mobsteel has done here, and look for hooks. He went for a hook attempt, though, and a miss, and Hasselhoff comes out with a detainment strike. Team Liquid, they're looking for a kill. Yeah,
they're looking for one right now. Bloomy, on the other hand, had to move back. Now keep in mind that, of course, we have Gul'dan the entire time with his Fell Flame build. Now the Rampant Hellfire also taken on level 16. If he gets stacks together and the damage increase, he could really push out a lot during those team fights. But so far, they have only gotten a single kill, and they need to change it. They have so many great tools here. Horrify, Mosh Pit. If they can get a good lockdown with maybe a Rain of Vengeance against the target, that would also work. But Malthael is about to complete his level 4 talent, and since we have Memento Mori taken on level 16, once that Black Harvest is completed, his threat level is rising a lot. And Team Wish is only one level away from level 20. Liquid, for them, it's now or never, I feel.
It is getting better for them, though. With Team Wish missing out on these hooks, that does allow for the opportunity for ETC to go for the engage. If Mobsteel continues to miss him here, there is that moment where you can force that power slide, force the engage backwards, but they need to do it soon. They only have a level here to force something to happen. And here's their option. They're going to go for the boss. Sneak it here on the top side. Team Wish does scout it out here with the Oracle, especially with the side storm coming out.
Liquid has to do something.
Look at the middle.
They can't play the long game. Keep as a trade. That's a worthy trade here for Team Wish. I like that choice a lot.
Yeah.
Team Wish doesn't want to fight. They are so close to level 20. For Team Liquid, this is the Hail Mary move, where they say, guys, we need to do something before our opponent hits the Storm Talons. Do we take a fight on the boss? It might not be ideal, but it's probably the best fight that we're going to get. What is Team Wish doing? Instead of going for the boss, they simply say, what do we care? We get a keep. What do you get out of it? You destroy our fort and maybe you can move on. But now the defense is already there. Level 20 has been hit, and Team Wish can start to defend here. I really like the decision-making on their side.
Decisions like this are the reason why Team Wish is even a possibility for BlizzCon, and why a lot of members are mentioning that they are the scariest team that is going into this weekend. But they will have to defend this boss push coming in. Mobsteel goes in, he lands a hook, dodges out on the Blumby power slide. Zarmany will pop Tormented Souls, and Poik from the side gets a kill on Vala.
Absolutely ridiculous. Insta-kill against Vala. She's down. Not even the Mosh Pit is going to do anything against them. Double kill, it's a triple. We see Oriel fall, and now only Blumby is alive, and he is not going to get out of this one. It's a team wipe, as we have Team Wish moving through the mid lane. Easy defense at the keep at the top, and once that Tracer moved in from the back, it was an instant kill against Vala, and with the main damage dealer gone, you just have absolutely no hope of doing anything in this team fight.
Lumby attempted to shred on the guitar, dropped the mosh pit, but it wasn't enough, as Poik was actually one that came in and did the shredding, getting 3 kills for his team. Wonderful engage there for Zarmany. They move straight towards the core. It will drop in health here, and it looks like we have a series tied up as we are going to 1-1 with Team Wish getting the victory on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually a really cool setup that we currently have for them here, and I am impressed by how they came back into this. After the first game, I really thought that Team Liquid was able to, I don't know, they really put on a clinic on the first game, and I thought that the second game would reflect that more. But they never really gained control over the map the entire time. We saw the early level 10 on the side of Team Wish, the turn-ins, and they always denied the turn-in value on the side of Team Liquid. And that was all they needed to do. They were always in advantage, and they played it perfectly. Passive when they needed to, aggressive when they had a chance. And the hooks on Mopsio's side were absolutely spot on.
Yeah, in this replay we have right here, we actually get to see one of those hooks from Mopsio. But as we slow it down here, from the perspective of Wish, they have a level 16 talent here, and they're just playing slow to clear the objectives. And so it forces Team Liquid into a position where they have to fight. They initiate on Mopsio, and because of that space, Mopsio is able to live and get a hook on Splendor. And then we see like the flawless follow-up. Like, it's a really good pulse bomb follow-up from Poilk as well. But essentially, like, Wish did really well at forcing Team Liquid to engage in a situation where they didn't want to fight, and they took advantage of that. And Mopsio actually played that really well, ended up hooking the medic, which was pretty insane. But it really goes to show how patient Team Wish is to, as a team, position in only such a way that Stitches is the only one who can get engaged on. He baited it out perfectly, got engaged on, got all the defensive resources, and then just instantly turned with Bile and Hook.
It's also how they allowed the turn-ins to happen. It's not like Team Liquid actually had a was really fighting hard for that turn-in. Once that Wish realized we're going to hit 16 in a few seconds, they just let them turn in.
Yeah.
We don't really care. Let them get the turn-in. They're going to waste their gems here. They're not going to get anything. And
Medic
we might
has to step out onto the map, too.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing.
So that was really well done. They did that at level 10, and they did it at level 16. They just said, okay, guys, job's done. We delayed it long enough. Now we are just closing in on level 16. When the Web Weavers come down, we have the talent advantage. What are they going to do?
Well, it's tied 1-1 here. We're getting ready for game number 3. Remember, our teams are fighting to move forward in the playoffs. We'll be right back.